You better think about the future. You better think about your neck. You better think about the shit hairdo you got, mate. I work my dreams on.
So Sleaford Mods, are you a mod?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But like the concept has changed since the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, it has, yeah. Well, a lot of people don't think it has, you know, you'd be surprised. But yeah, I'd like to think it has, you know, I'd like to think that we veer more towards the ideal, the mod ideal than the material sort of presence. More the ideology of it perhaps, you know, being fresh and thinking, moving forward with it.
But no scooter?
Nah. I thought about buying one actually, but...
You had a first project called That Shit Try Hard.
Okay, yeah. That was Sleaford Mods, but it was a different name.
It was a different name. But when did you meet Andrew? When did you find out that his beats and his sound was like the perfect thing for you?
About 2010. I met him sort of around September time of that year, and we started. I asked him if he wanted to do some stuff, and we kind of got together. It took about 6 months, but it started working out. So yeah.
Thankfully. And you quit your day job last year, right?
Yes, yeah.
It must be a good feeling, but at the same time, most of your lyrics are about frustration at work.
Yes.
How are you going to replace it now?
Oh, plenty of things. Frustration doesn't go away. Anything. Work. I mean, this is work. You know. I mean, we've had to kind of really grow up quickly, and not drink all the time, do drugs and smoke, and so now it's like work. But obviously, it's more entertaining than sort of a 9 to 5. But there's plenty of things to talk about. Definitely, yeah.
I think the general feeling about you is that you might be a little bit intimidating.
Yes.
But yeah, because you're like so cool and soft-spoken.
Yeah.
And do you think it's because like your brutal honesty and your ferocious ranting on stage that might like people tend to like, well, we're not used to that honesty.
Not used to it, no. There aren't many bands that just really get into it, you know, anymore.
And do you think like people? That's maybe my opinion, but do you think like people know exactly what's going on in their everyday lives, but when they're confronted with that, when they're faced with that, they kind of tend to be like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean there is a climate of you know, there's a climate of you know, the kind of the unwritten rule, which is just to be very placid and, you know, try and be, you know, good-willed, and it doesn't work, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of passionate performers, you know. And if there are, their idea of passion is completely weak, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of honesty going about because music's just been overrun by careerism, you know. And even with the big bands that claim to be, you know, actual bands, rock and roll bands or whatever, they're just fucking employees, you know. So, and I'd like to think that we're not, you know what I mean? Definitely, you know, we've been able to do this on our own and operate it under our own terms. So we're very lucky in that sense. But in another sense, we've worked very hard for it. So, you know.
Said the arsehole to the legs. You gotta be cruel to be kind. Shit cake, I make it up like Norman Colin. At least the stench piss like a giant toilet cracker. The lonely life that he's touring. I got an arm full of decent tunes, mate. But it's all so fucking.
Will you ever go to a label that will have anything to say about your creative process?
Yeah, labels are difficult, you know. I mean, it might come to a point where we might need a label in a few years, or a label might approach us that we think's agreeable, you know what I mean? And it's always nice to get somebody else's advice, you know what I mean? I'm not too precious about somebody butting in and saying, what about this, what about that, you know. I'm not completely, you know, tunnel vision. It's my idea or nothing, you know, because that's going to be the death of you. So you never know, you know. But definitely not some fucking big one, you know. They're just fucking useless, you know what I mean? Absolutely useless.
That was the point here.
Yeah.
But your music is essentially about working class, but you don't play anymore for working class crowds. Did you? Never did.
No, but it's not working. It was never about working class. It was more about my experiences working. And I suppose they were unskilled jobs, low-paid jobs, and it was in an environment where, you know, mostly it was taken up by working class people. I come from a working class background, you know, but this has never been important to me. What's been important is my experiences, not a class thing.
But is it important for you that people actually think that the working class heroes are Oasis?
Well, you know, they were for about 6 months, you know what I mean? They were a good band for a while, short period, and then it went, do you know what I mean? But all about, you know, they got really big too quickly. And
The Mods have their hair.
yeah, fucking hell, you know, it's prevalent, still prevalent. They cut such a deep scar into the psychology of the English male. You know what I mean, from the mid-90s, and that still stayed in a lot of respects, you know. So there you go.
And you tend to attract like crazy people to your shows. I remember the Rough Trade incident. What do fans say to you?
Well, I mean, he was actually a homeless guy, so yeah, and he had a few problems, obviously. So I don't think he was quite himself, you know. So I didn't feel threatened at all. He was just kind of there, and you know what I mean. But so far it's been all right. It's not been that bad, you know. If anybody, I don't think I've had any grief at all. Not from any, you know, serious.
No, but actual cool things. You know, actually cool things that fans just say to you on shows or after the show.
Just taken away by it, you know. Really can't believe it, and just, you know, you saved my life and stuff to that effect, which really, you know, really means a lot. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, we have Andrew here. Hi, Andrew.
Yo.
So cool. You have like the best job ever.
Yeah.
Don't you? Just have like a really cool time and just shooting loops.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You have to work for it initially to be able to get to that situation where you can do fuck all. You know, I mean nothing.
You can swear, don't we?
Oh, okay.
No, you can swear.
Yeah, bollocks.
You can swear.
But yeah, you know, it's just that. It's great to be able to play good music to people instead of farting around on the guitar thinking you're great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not interested in that at all.
Oh, shit.
I just want people to be happy, and I want them to experience something, and you know.
And your sound has so much influence about so much things. You can really label it or put it in a box. But this song I didn't know, the Tarantula Cargo. Death Cargo. Is that?
Yeah, Tarantula Deadly Cargo.
Deadly Cargo. Tarantula Deadly Cargo. I just felt a little bit of Depeche Mode in that.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
No?
Well, it is because it is a mood. It's got a moody underbelly.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you're tapping into that heroin thing now in the later days of Depeche Mode or something. I don't know, but not really. I think of it as like a blues riff or something.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
And it's more of an old school kind of riff, really. You know, people can interpret it however they want.
Yeah.
To me, it's solid. It's a solid.
Yeah,
you know, musically, it's a bit old school kind of style in a way.
It's really old school.
It's rocking, you know what I mean? It's like steady rock.
Yeah.
Vibe, you know?
And you kind of feel it like in your spine, and you have to move it.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
Yeah.
You can just be watching your show, you know.
Yeah.
You have to have a reaction to it.
Okay.
Very true.
And I just think of Sleaford Mods like an anti-politics band. A group, you know.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you, what is your political position?
Violence.
Violence against who?
It's totally that, like
Tory.
you said. I'm glad you said that it's an anti-political
It is, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Because we get the opposite usually in interviews about it being a political thing, and it's reaction against it all. Really, it's like, you know, it's your 2p opinion about things, isn't it?
It's not anything.
It's not a manifesto.
No, it's not. No political ideology. No ism about it.
Cause. It's a cause.
No, it's not cause. No, absolutely not. No, I mean, it's just an explanation of frustration, I suppose. That's it, you know. But yeah, there is. In England, it's getting just stupid. They're just laughing at us, you know. And you just think sometimes, well, they're gonna treat us like shit. We should treat them like shit, you know. But I know violence on violence never works, does it? But there's certainly nothing else happening. So.
We got asked about that earlier. There's a documentary called Yes Men,
Yeah.
In that documentary, that'd be my answer. Be proactive. Be clever about your reactionary. If you want to react against the government, be clever about it. Just throwing stuff in your own neighbourhood and putting banners up. I mean, if it gets the anger out of you, then fine. But there has to be other ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing it,
Yeah.
I don't know where I am.
I try so hard to be on top of their chaos. The bingo culture, where have you been? These bastards in the map room are fucking useless.